Welcome to This Week in History. I'm Tyler Boeh. That was the intro, and the rest, as they say, is history. October 26th. In 1825, the Erie Canal opened in upstate New York. The 363-mile canal connected the Hudson River with the Great Lakes. It was a technological marvel of its day, and at a cost of $7.6 million, it was the most expensive ditch full of water you've ever seen. It was actually an incredible feat of civil engineering, and it established the growth and economies of what would surely become two of the greatest and most iconic cities in the world, New York City and Erie, Pennsylvania. In 1854, founder of Post cereals Charles William Post was born. He was actually inspired to start his company after a mental breakdown led to a stay at the Kellogg's Sanitarium. His first cereal product was grape nuts. If you've never had grape nuts, just imagine eating a bowl of wet gravel. If you think it's hard on the roof of your mouth, just wait till it hits your stomach. I don't know how it wasn't going to be a bestseller. Now they actually make a product called Grape Nuts Crunch for people who find grape nuts lacking in texture. In 1949, President Harry Truman increased federal minimum wage from 40 cents an hour to 75 cents an hour, almost doubling pay for workers. Modern-day Republicans have actually referenced this historical precedent in regards to the debate today about increasing minimum wage. And they agree, following Truman's example, it's time to take bold action and that we should also increase the wage by 35 cents. October 27th. In 1904, the New York City subway system opened to the public. The first train left the station at 7 p.m., and by 7:12, a man had been mugged, someone had peed in the corner of a train, and several adolescents had figured out how to board a train without paying. The New York City subway system was up and running as planned. In 1925, electrical engineer Albert Medwin was born. He holds several U.S. patents, including ones in the field of electronic encoders, semiconductor translating circuits, integrated circuits, and low-power CMOS chips, including a high-speed shift register, and I have no idea what any of that means. In 1954, Benjamin Davis Jr. became the first black general in the U.S. Air Force. Throughout his career in the military, Davis fought heroically against Germans, Italians, Russians, and other Europeans, and those were just racist Americans. He also went to war. Before rising to the rank of general, he was the commander of the Tuskegee Airmen and flew 60 missions. After retiring from the military, he was hired by the Transportation Administration and was instrumental in establishing both airport security and the 55-mile-per-hour federal speed limit. So, a man who fought his entire life for forward progress was encouraging everybody to just slow down a little bit. October 28th. In 1919, Congress enacted the Volstead Act, ushering in Prohibition. It's like America signed up for a sober October and then we just kept going. Prohibition was started in the hopes of reducing crime and corruption, solving social problems, reducing the tax burden on prisons and poorhouses, and generally improving the health and hygiene of America. But we'd been drinking for 143 years as a country, and we tried to go cold turkey, so of course it was going to end in utter failure. Instead of accomplishing any of those noble goals, we got rampant organized crime, speakeasies, and light beer. We didn't even try to stop drinking, honestly. We just told people we were sober and started carrying a flask. After a good 14-year run, Prohibition ended in 1933. But at least we accomplished the first step in any good 12-step program, which is admitting that you have a problem. And there's nothing more American than identifying a problem and then doing nothing to solve it. Cheers! In 1929, baby airline Falconer became the first baby to be born on an airplane while in flight. The parents were congratulated by the flight crew and then charged for an additional carry-on. In 1965, St. Louis, Missouri's famous Gateway Arch Monument was completed. The giant steel arch reminds us of the expansion of the American country, not to be confused with the golden arches, which remind us of the expansion of the American waistband. October 29th. In 1929, America's stock market crashed and the Great Depression began on what is now known as Black Tuesday. Suddenly, having to get up for work on that Monday didn't seem all that bad. In 1969, the U.S. Supreme Court ordered an end to all school segregation. And that's why today we no longer see any kind of racism or inequality in the public school system. In 1942, the Alaskan Highway was completed. This 2,232-mile stretch of road ran through Canada and connected the U.S. to the Alaskan Territory. Since then, 8 people have driven on it. In 1998, the oldest known copy of Archimedes' work in mathematics sold at auction for a price of 2 × 10⁶ power. October 30th. In 1451, Christopher Columbus was first discovered by his parents. Columbus was actually born breech, so it was evident from day one that he had a terrible sense of direction. In 1938, Orson Welles' The War of the Worlds aired on CBS Radio and caused a panic when listeners believed that the reading of the sci-fi novel was an actual news broadcast. Can you believe that anyone would be so easily deceived by something that's so obviously contrived? In 1945, the U.S. government announced the end of shoe rationing. Finally, Americans could get back to eating shoes. In 1954, the U.S. Defense Department eliminates all racially segregated regiments. And that's why today we no longer see any kind of racism or inequality in the U.S. military. In 2001, President George W. Bush threw out the first pitch in Game 3 of the World Series. The pitch, like his approval rating, was low and to the right. October 31st. In 1864, Nevada became the 36th state in the Union. You know there's also 36 pockets on a roulette wheel? What are the odds of that? In 1918, the Spanish flu kills 21,000 Americans in a single week. Looks like they're turning the corner. In 1926, Harry Houdini died from an infection resulting from a burst appendix. He was able to escape everything but death. In 1967, rapper Vanilla Ice was born, and the entire nursing staff agreed he was a nice baby. November 1st. In 1512, Michelangelo's painting on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel was first exhibited by the public. "You missed a spot," said one lady. In 1800, John Adams became the first president to move into the White House. The government required first, last, a deposit, and a 4-year lease. In 1921, the National Birth Control League and the Voluntary Parenthood League got together and, one thing led to another, and they gave birth to the American Birth Control League. I hope it wasn't an accident. In 1959, after suffering 4 broken noses, 2 broken cheekbones, a broken jaw, over 200 stitches, and countless missing teeth, Jacques became the first NHL goalie to wear a full face mask. At that point, I'm not sure if he was protecting his face from the puck or the fans from his face. That's it for this week in history. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think, and keep coming back because nothing's better than repeating history over and over again.